Invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's invocation is being offered by the Dr. Reverend Chris Jackson of the Pleasant Green Missionary Baptist Church. He is the guest of Council Member Lonnell Matthews.
Let us pray. Lord, we come before you on this day because you know everything and we don't. We need your wisdom. We need your guidance and we need your direction. I pray that you would pervade over this proceedings, that you may get the glory out of everything that is done, and Nashville might be a better place because of this day. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Without objection, we will suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of the members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion for the approval of our minutes of our August 20th meeting? Have a motion and a second. If there are no objections, the minutes will stand approved as written. Madam Clerk, are there any messages from the mayor?
There are no messages from the mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. You'll notice on your desk there is a notice about the industrial board vacancies. Nominations will be taken at our meeting next week on September the 17th, and we'll hold the election on October the 1st. We also need to elect 2 members of the council to the audit committee for a 2-year term that will begin October the 1st, and we will conduct those elections at our next meeting on September 17th. We are now at the point of elections and confirmations. Councilmember Berry.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Rules Committee met and moved. I'm a little new at this, so let me kind of walk myself through this. All right. The committee voted 7-4-0 against to reappoint Mr. Vince Wyatt and to reappoint Ms. Tyler Yarbrough for the Committee Corrections Advisory Board, and I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The committee met and voted unanimously 7-4-0 against to reappoint Ms. Minnie Bell for a term to the Historical Commission, and also to reappoint Mr. David Curry for a term on the Historical Commission, and also to reappoint Dr. Bill McKee. And with that, I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes.
And last but not least, we met and voted unanimously 7-4-0 against to reappoint Ms. Mary Buffwack for a term to the Hospital Authority. And with that, I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Vince Wyatt, Tyler Yarbrough, Minnie Bell, David Curry, Bill McGee, and Mary Buffwack. On behalf of the entire Metro Council, thank you for your willingness to serve our city and to share your talents and time. Thank you very much. We're now at a resolution on public hearing, RS 2013-826, exempts Keisha's Ballroom and Deli located at 1315 Leachy Avenue from the minimum distance requirement for obtaining a beer permit. Councilmember Scott Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to open a public hearing.
Please raise your hand if you're in support. Thank you. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing no one in opposition, does anyone in support wish to speak? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Scott Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move the bill forward for approval.
We have a motion and a second. Need one committee report. Councilmember Perdue.
Public Safety voted 4-0 to approve.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We will take BL 2013-513 and 514 together if there is no objection. 513 changes 213.96 acres from MUGCSCL OR20, RS5, R6, OL, SP, RS10, and RS7.5 to MUGA, MULA, and OR20A, zoning for various properties and a portion of property located along Gallatin Avenue, Gallatin Pike, and Main Street. 514 makes provisions of the Gallatin Pike Urban Design Overlay to 213.96 acres of property located along Gallatin Avenue, Gallatin Pike, and Main Street. Councilmember Westerholm.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. We'd like to move this bill to the first public hearing in October.
We have a motion to move this to the first public hearing in October. Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. I'd like to remind everyone in the gallery that if you are here, you need to be sitting. BL 2013-515 amends 136.05 acres of the mansion at Fontanelle Specific Plan District for properties located at 4105, 4125, 4225 Whites Creek Pike to permit a rural resort with lodging with up to 140 rooms. Councilmember Hunt.
Please open the public hearing, ma'am.
Please raise your hand if you're in support. Thank you. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing no one in opposition, does anyone in support wish to speak? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Hunt.
Madam President, move for approval, please.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-516 amends the Metro Zoning Code pertaining to specific plan districts. Councilmember Claiborne.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Open the public hearing, please.
Please raise your hand if you're in support of BL 2013-516. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing none on either side, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Claiborne.
Move the bill for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. I'm sorry, Councilmember Garrett.
Pardon me, Ms. Vice Mayor, just one question for the sponsor. Does this follow along with the bill that's been sponsored by the council members here? I didn't know if it needed to be, does it pertain to that bill or not?
I'll defer to the planning director and let him address that.
This bill is separate. It's just a text amendment to the actual enabling legislation itself. It's not reliant on or affects their bill at all.
Thank you, sir.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at items on our consent agenda. The following items are on consent, and I will read all of them, and then we can pull any that need to be pulled. RS 2013-829 through 837, 839, 840, and 841. RS 2013-829 approves an annual state grant to the Metro Arts Commission for operating support. 830 approves an interlocal agreement between Metro Government, Nashville Electric Service, and the City of Goodlettsville for access to 800 MHz emergency radio dispatch and response system. 831 approves an agreement between Metro Planning Department and the U.S. Department of Interior Geological Survey to acquire an imagery update of Nashville and Davidson County. 832 approves amendments to 3 agreements with the state regarding the maintenance of closed solid waste facilities. 833 approves a utility relocation contract between the Department of Water and Sewer Services and the State Department of Transportation to relocate certain water sewer facilities for construction of a state bridge over Otter Creek. 834 approves an amendment to a grant from the Tennessee Literacy Coalition to the Community Education Commission to enable a full-time AmeriCorps program participant to assist in building volunteer capacity. 835 approves an application for a grant from the National Endowment for the Arts to Metro Parks and Recreation Department to support the Music City Ballroom Kids and Friends program. 836 approves a state grant from the Metro Arts Commission to partner with the Nashville Public Library to conduct 4 hands-on art in the Word creative workshops. 837 approves a state grant to the Metro Board of Parks and Recreation to supplement the Big Band Dance program in Centennial Park. 839 recognizes Principal Robin Wall and staff for the positive transformation of the McGavitt Comprehensive High School. 840 supports the work and vision of International Justice Mission to end human slavery around the world and recognizes October 1st, 2013 as International Justice Mission Day. 841 affirms the Charter for Compassion facilitated by the International Campaign for Compassionate Cities. Do any of these need to be pulled? Councilmember Westerholm.
I would just ask that I would be recorded as abstaining on 838.
It's not on consent.
Okay. Thank you.
Any others? Okay, I will need committee reports on these. Councilmember Stein.
On resolutions 2013, 829, 830, 831, 832, 833, 834, 835, 836, and 837, the committee unanimously approved them all.
Thank you. Councilmember Glover.
On Resolution 2013-834, the committee approves 6-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Tiger.
Parks, Library, and Recreation approved 835, 836, and 837, 5-0.
Thank you. Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved this resolution, 831, 9-0.
Thank you. Councilmember Purdue.
Public Safety approved 834-0.
Councilmember Dominy. Is his report on his desk? Councilmember Potts.
What's the RS numbers?
832 and 833.
Okay. Public Works voted to approve 7-4-0 against on RS 2013, 832, and 833.
Thank you. Councilmember Berry.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Rules voted to approve 7-4-0 against, 839, 840, and 841.
And would you make a motion to please?
And I would like to make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve the consent agenda and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. We will now go back to the ones not on the consent agenda. And we can take 827 and 828 together if there is no objection. 827 appropriates $500,000 from the undesignated fund balance of the general fund of the General Services District to contribute to music and entertainment economic development initiatives. 828 approves a grant agreement between the Music City Productions, Inc. to incentivize the production of Nashville. Councilmember Stein.
Thank you. The Budget and Finance Committee voted to approve both, 10-4, none against, and 1 abstention, and I move approval with a brief comment.
We have a motion and a second. Councilman Stein.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Just as a reminder to the council, this $500,000 comes from our undesignated fund balance, which still leaves the fund balance at 7.4%, which is about 2.4% above the 5% traditional goal. Basically, again, don't have to tell anyone much about the Nashville program, but this 1 hour, basically a commercial with legions of ads and billboards that promote it, is watched by between 5.5 to 6.5 million folks around this country every week. Its high quality has utilized most of our city's landmarks and attraction I think most of us agree the city looks great and sounds great, and importantly to us all, the music is authentic. Season 1 spent over $40 million. Season 2, they promise comparable spending, if not greater. The crew is 2/3 composed of locals. They spend about $18 million in local labor expenditures. Local businesses, from facility and equipment rentals to hotels to catering to security to fuel to construction materials, have received over $7 million. And I would say, as a frequent critic of the state, for once the state is supporting this production to the tune of about $12 million, and our $500,000 is added to that. I don't think we can get a better bang for our buck. And just as a spoiler alert, if downtown filming was any indication for those that watch regularly, apparently Raina James did survive. And I renew my motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is RS 2013-383, approves an application to a state grant to the Metro Board of Parks and Recreation for the planting of Native American plants and grasses at South Englewood Park. Councilmember Stein.
Sure.
Councilmember Stein.
I'm sorry. It was approved 12-4, none against.
Move approval.
I move approval. I
Committee
apologize.
report from Councilman Tiger.
Parks, Recreation, and Library Committee voted to approve Resolution 838, 4-0 against with 1 abstention.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Westerholm wants to be noted that he's abstaining, correct? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is RS 2013-842, calls for a moratorium on the approval of new charter schools until Metro Nashville Public School System's revenue projections improve substantially or until the school system is able to make significant structural changes in its budget. Councilmember Glover.
Yes, Madam. I would ask that this be deferred indefinitely.
We have a motion and a second.
And I also have the committee report. The committee voted 8-4-0 against to defer indefinitely.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Councilman Glover.
If I could, just a brief explanation. I think there's been a lot of confusion about this particular resolution. It's only a memorializing resolution, number 1. Number 2, it does not call for any closing of any charter schools. It simply asks the state for us to have a serious conversation about funding our schools. And I'm afraid, or I hate that there's been so much confusion, but we are at a crossroads. Right now, we're at a crossroads because money is not going to be endless. We are going to have these serious conversations. The school board's going to have serious conversations about where they're going to make cuts. But as the appropriating body for the school board and for our schools, I think it's important that we do have these conversations. And this resolution has woken up, I think, a lot of folks to where we're going to have that conversation with the state as we go forward. And we're going to defer it indefinitely right now, and hopefully we'll have very productive conversations. So with that, I renew my defer.
Is there discussion on the motion to defer? Councilmember Mitchell? Councilmember Scott Davis?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. A wise man told me today that charter schools and public schools are public schools, period. I agree with him. Thank you, Councilman Maynard. More importantly, right now, we are at an education crisis in our nation as a whole. And I admire Councilman Glover's tenacity and his commitment towards education. And I just want to thank the parents today from Nashville's public schools here in Orange for their service to our community and also for coming out here and being such good stewards and being involved in their children's education. And this is the main success tool for any school, period, public, private, or any school, is that parental involvement. And I just want to look forward to any conversations we're going to have with the Budget and Finance Committee on the Education Committee. Thank you.
Any other discussion on the motion to defer? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion to defer passes. We now have a late filed resolution. It approves the election of certain notaries public for Davidson County. Councilmember Stein.
Barry.
Councilmember Barry.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to ask for suspension of the rules, please. At the request of the county clerk, the notaries will not be approved in time, and many notaries will not be able to notarize stuff. So,
Is there any objection to a suspension of the rules? Seeing none, go right ahead.
then I would ask for your approval of this resolution.
Did you have a committee
Yes, I'm sorry,
report?
there is a committee report. We approved it, 7-4-0 against. And then I would like to move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at bills on introduction and first reading. Are there any that need to be pulled? Councilmember Tigert.
Yes, ma'am. I need to pull the last one, BL 2013-543, for the purpose of offering a substitute.
Okay. Any others? Is there a motion for all other bills on introduction and first reading? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is BL 2013-543, amends the Metro Code pertaining to the sponsorship on park property and authorizing the acceptance and deposit of sponsorship funds. Councilmember Tigert.
There is a substitute to correct some issues, and I would move the substitute.
We have a motion and a second on the substitute. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Substitute passes. Councilman Tigert.
Move the bill as substituted.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The bill is substituted, passes. We're now at bills on second reading. First is BL 2013-523, amends the Metro Code to establish a community benefits agreement policy for Metro government. Council Lady Gilmore is not here, but she sent a letter. Councilman Stein, will you please handle this?
Yes, on behalf of Lady Gilmore, the committee report from the Budget and Finance Committee at the request of sponsors to defer indefinitely, 12-4 and none against. And on behalf of Lady Gilmore, I would move indefinite deferral.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor of indefinite deferral, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-524 adopts the property identification maps for Metro government to be used for the identification of real estate for tax assessment purposes. Councilmember Claiborne.
Move the bill to approve.
Councilman Hunt, do you have a committee report?
Planning and zoning passed 524, 940 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Claiborne.
Move the bill to approve.
Have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-525 approves an agreement between the Department of Public Works, Avondale Residential, Inc., and CSX Transportation, Inc. for the construction of a roadway bridge over the CSXT right-of-way. Councilmember Potts.
Committee reports.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approved this bill 525, 940 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Dominic.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Public Works Committee approved this 7-4 and 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Potts.
I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at bills on third reading. BL 2013-353 changes .26 acres from RS10 to SP zoning for property located at 316 Tanksley Avenue to permit accessory vehicle parking and a storage building. Councilmember Tenpenny.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I believe there's an amendment to this bill. Would you like to explain it, sir?
The amendment adds a couple conditions to the bill and removes the storage building from the SP plan. The conditions that would be added would be landscaping on both sides of the masonry wall, and the parking area would have to be a pervious pavement surface.
Councilman Tenpenny.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. I'd move the amendment.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments? Are you ready?
No, ma'am. What I want, yeah, we can go ahead and move the amendment.
All in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Opposed, no. The amendment passes.
Thank you. I'd like to defer this indefinitely. I'd like to have a few words.
We have a motion and a second to defer the bill as amended indefinitely. Councilmember Tenpenny.
I'd like to defer and send this back to the Planning Commission is what I'd like to do.
Commission and committee?
Yeah, Commission and committee, yes.
The motion is to defer indefinitely and to refer back to the Planning Commission and the Council Planning Committee. And we have a second. Councilman Tenpenny.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We've worked really hard on this bill, and we've had lots of meetings on this. We've got a lot of people that's for this bill, and we have several that's against this bill. I feel like we need to send it back to the Planning Commission now that we've done the amendments, and I think it'd be a better bill. And thank you. That's all.
We have a motion and a second for indefinite deferral. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-474 changes 10.37 acres from IG to MUIA zoning for properties located at 400 Davidson Street. Councilmember Westerheim.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I believe all committee reports are in on this bill.
I'm sorry?
I believe all committee reports are in on this bill.
Yes.
Yes. I'd like to go ahead and move approval with a brief comment.
We have a motion and a second.
I'd like to thank Councilman Anthony Davis for joining on to help out this bill when I was out in the last meeting. I apologize for that and appreciate his help with that. And I think that this bill is going to provide a great beginning to reimagining Davidson Road in East Nashville. And with that, I'd move approval.
Thank you, Councilman Holloman.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I need to be recorded as abstaining on this bill.
So noted. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-496 changes 2.17 acres from IWD to MUL zoning for property located at 270 Venture Circle. Councilmember Harrison.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee report, please.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approve 496, 940 against.
Thank you, Councilman Harrison.
Thank you. I move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-517 amends the Metro Code pertaining to the use of diversified business enterprises and participation in the Metro Workforce Development Program by recipients of economic development incentives. Councilmember Maynard.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move for approval with a brief explanation.
I have a motion and a second. Councilman.
Thank you. If we pass this on the third reading, we will become a leader in the South regarding helping small businesses to do contract work with the municipality. We will be better than Charlotte, Dallas, Atlanta, and several other cities in the South. We will go to the head of the curve. And I want to thank the colleagues here who worked with us diligently. I'd like to thank the administration for their commitment to small businesses, which is the driving engine of our economy. And I'd also like to thank those who have worked hard, Councilman Matthews on the workforce development, Council Lady Berry, who worked on the first DBE legislation. Again, this will allow us to hire persons who are residents of Nashville as they go through training through our workforce development training program. Then our contractors and developers will look to hire from those pool of applicants. So this will help as a win-win for our residents of Nashville, for the developers to use small businesses as they do the constructural work that they're doing, partnering with our city and partnering with our city's diversified business program and our workforce development. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-518 approves the lease agreement between Metro Government and the Sports Authority for property at Global Mall for a new hockey facility. Councilmember Matthews.
All committee reports are in, so I'll move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-519 approves a construction agreement between Metro Government and CSX Transportation, Inc. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. Councilman Jernigan, did you wish to speak on this one? No. Okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Thank you.
BL 2013-520 authorizes the Director of Public Property Administration to accept an easement for 3 parcels of property for use in connection with the Mill Creek Greenway. Councilmember Dow.
All committee reports are in. I'll just move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-521 authorizes the Director of Public Property Administration to accept an easement for use in connection with the White Creek Greenway. Councilmember Matthews.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-522 accepts permanent easements for the Windermere Drive Stormwater Improvement Project for 3 properties located at 2740, 2744, and 2748 Windermere Drive. Councilmember Claiborne.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. All committees have approved, and I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor, please say aye. And please remember, we meet again next week.